All right, all right. It looks like we are live. This is Brian with EvoDynamic, and tonight, delayed from this weekend, we are going through Dynamic Discovery Part 2 on our project. Let me check my streams here. Looks like YouTube has gone live, and let me toggle over to Facebook. Facebook is gone live, so that's off to a good start. So let's get into this. Like I said before, we're working on dynamic discovery. The second part of dynamic discovery is to identify your MVP, or your minimum viable product. And I like to put the word sellable, minimum viable sellable product, when you're looking at that. The 5 steps of dynamic discovery are: 1, to do your idea web; 2, to do your MVP; 3, to do your workflows and how the software is going to flow with the business rules and the step-by-step. 4 is the workable mock-up, where you mock up all the screens and how the screens are going to behave. And then 5 is your pre-sales, or your validation. If you're using the app internally, it would be a pre-sale, a validation thing. Everybody likes the app. It works the way you want it to. If you're selling it to the public or to investors, it would be pre-sales, looking for people to do that. The purpose of dynamic discovery is to really go through and design a piece of software at a minimal cost that really looks like it functions like the final app will, because it's a lot easier and cheaper to build it out that way. And 2, you can determine whether it's viable. You can use it, play with it, think through it, and it's a lot cheaper to do designs than it is to write code and software. So let me move my windows over here, and we'll switch over to our other screen, right screen and camera. Boom, there we are. So we were at diagrams.net, and this is where I got stuck this weekend a little bit after OBS, was on this diagrams.net. I've never used diagrams.net before. This open existing diagram we used last session, so this wasn't working for me last weekend, but it looks like it is now. So if I go into my apps, I can find our accountability goal tool, and it's empty. So I clicked out here, and I was able to open recent and find our app that we built the other day. So first step was the idea web. I didn't do any work on the idea web outside of our session, but I don't need to, really. We've kind of got all the things on the screen for a user to have multiple users, to sign up and pay, and set a goal, complete a goal, view the goal list, and then just some other ideas for down the road. This is just one component of a big set of ideas that I have in the accountability, goal setting, coaching, life planning area of the world. So if I press Control Scroll, I can zoom in and out in diagrams.net. If I click on my mouse wheel, I can grab that and move it around. So those are some of the things that I learned. It's a lot like some other programs that I've been using lately. So now we need to identify what is the minimum viable product. And usually what I do is I just draw a circle around it on the other tool that I use. I'm not sure if we have a freehand tool in here, but flowchart, that's what we'll use in the next step, so that's good. This looks, that's a curve. Connectors. This looks like a edit button, but not a drawing tool. Miscellaneous, advanced, basic. Basic sounds really good. Arrows, flowcharts, UML. I don't see any free drawing tools. But what I really want to do is I just want to identify the scope of what we'll build on the first draft of this app. And I think we can do this a different way. So I'm going to try this. I want to just grab this shape and we'll fill it with blue. So that's going to be part of the first generation. So if I grab these two guys, you want to sign up, pay, and be a user. I want them to be able to edit their settings and have some settings. As a user, there's going to be an app as well. I don't know about email or SMS service on this first round. I don't know about these reminders. Those can wait till a later round. I don't know about exporting anywhere. I think the app is just going to be the app itself, maybe a push notification. So let's see. If I grab one of our shapes, bring it on here, and go push. And push notification. I guess we need to make a list of what those are. That'll come out in our next phase of this. So that'll be part of our first generation. So the app there, we're going to sign up and pay. We're going to bring this over here a little bit. Bring the things we're using close together. As a user, I need to, I'm not going to create, I'm only going to be in one group on generation 1, but later we could maybe create more groups. But I will be able to invite group members, and then that'll be this group listing here. I want to view group goals, so the two guys in my accountability group, I want to see their goals and I want to share my goals with them. We aren't going to put any messaging in our first version. No messages. Delete account, reset password. Reset password's kind of important. It's kind of a standard operating thing. So I can invite group members, so I do need an email service. We're going to lead this app probably on a web app so that we can avoid some of the Apple fees. So I need to be able to set a goal. I need to complete a goal, check done and comment, and I need to be able to view my goal list. So these are all going to be in the minimum viable product, MVP. Description, date, start date, so that's a goal. So this is related to that, so I don't need to highlight that. So if I can sign up and pay, then I become a user. I can invite group members to my group. Over on this side, I can set a goal. I can mark a goal complete. I can view my goal list. I can modify my settings, name, email. Can turn on notifications. We've got a push notification, so that'll be in part of our design. So yeah, so I'm gonna make some connectors. Does that, oh yeah, that's how you make connectors. All right, so got that one. Whoa, no. Whoa, didn't want that. Control Z. Control Z is your friend. Undo is what Control Z does. So now we've got an MVP. I'm going to move the future generation stuff out to the outskirts of this thing. And we're going to just build a web app. So let's rename this the web app. And then in the next generation, we may be looking at a mobile app. The web app is going to use an email service. It's going to have users, and why do I need the, oh, I need the email service to invite these group members. So we're going to have an email service and such like that. So part 2 for such a simple app as this is really that simple. Usually I draw a line around and kind of highlight it, but I don't see a line drawing tool in the diagrams.net software package that I'm using. And that's fine. I wonder what, let's try this. Nope. Cancel. That's not it. So this is our MVP. We've got a web app where you can, let's see, how do I do connect us? There we go. I think I want that. Where you can sign up. And from there you can pay. Maybe there'll be a free trial or something. And that's what the user does. So actually I don't want that line there. So payment's going to go through the web app. We're going to use probably Stripe or something. Oh look, there's that little curvy line. I threw that in there by accident. Delete. So now I'm going to connect all these ideas together. So these are all things that I can do as a user. I don't want an arrow here. I want just kind of a line. Yeah, I think this does it. Nope, arrow points. No. I want to get rid of that arrow point. I just want these things connected together. Oh, I bet it's over here. There we go. So none on this end and an arrow on that end. I'll make that none and none. Did that do it? Yeah, so a user can set a goal. They can sign up, which leads to paying. I don't want a straight line. I want kind of a curvy line. There we go. That's all right. First time using this thing. So I can, let's get rid of this line. Get rid of this line. Oh, that's a pretty good line. So a user can sign up and pay. And then they become a member. After they're a member, then they can set a goal. They can complete a goal. They can view their goal list. They can edit their settings, and the settings will include these things: name, email. We'll detail these out on the next phase of dynamic discovery, which is your flow diagrams. So the flow diagrams go together with the data diagram. What data does the app need to have? So I'll just move this over here, move this guy over there. From there, as a user, I can invite group members, and then each one of these users is the same as this kind of user. They can invite group members, they can view group goals for all their friends in the group. And then I think I can grab this line. Oh yeah, grab that line and make it go wherever I want to. So that's our MVP. So invite group members, view group goals. So I'll be viewing the group list. I want the web app to push notification when we've got something that's due. One of the goals is coming up as due. And I want to get this line and make it sexy like the other ones. Make a nice smooth line. There we go. So it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be perfect and stuff. You just need to get the idea across of what you're building out and what your MVP is. So this is our MVP. And once I get to this phase of an MVP design, I usually move things away from that MVP, just to isolate it and make it stand out. So just spread things out a little bit on our whiteboard here. This kind of relates to that, so I'm going to move it in closer actually. And this is good because you got to wrap all the way around an object to pick it. Control Z is your friend. And then If I just make that a little smaller, oh, it's just one of those funny rectangle things. And then these are some of the ideas of fields I thought for that. That'll help us when we get into the next phase of the app. Now we're just going to move this over here. Another SMS service, a mobile app service, but right now it's just starting with a web app. Some simple steps. So notifications will set when the web app sends a push notification. I can sign up and pay as a user. And then I become a member. So it might make sense to have two circles, a user and then a member. As a member, I can set a goal, I can complete a goal, I can view my goal list. I'm going to want a history. That's going to be a square for a thing. So we'll just get rid of that and we'll bring out the rectangle. Goal statistics. So as you're going through dynamic discovery, you never stop adding your ideas onto your whiteboard. You just keep adding them on, so that when you come back, because when you get done with all of your dynamic discovery, if you decide to build, you build the part you identified. If you decide not to, maybe one of these other things is the thing that makes the difference in the app, and you want to bring that in to make it more sellable. Or you build it, you go back and you go, what's next? And then you work with your users of your app and go, well, what's next? And create kind of a tool and reporting system. There's some software out there that works really good for getting feedback on an app, and that's what you want to do. And you can even get that feedback after it's built, and you can get it during that validation phase. Thanks for spending some time with me today looking at dynamic discovery. We are building the accountability goal app. This is part 2 of 5. Actually, it's probably only going to be 4 videos because part 5 is the validation. Last week we did part 1, which was just the idea web, getting these ideas all on our whiteboard. This is part 2, identifying the scope of what we're going to build as a minimum viable sellable product. And next week, probably not next week, well, maybe later this week. I have a retreat this weekend, so I'll be out. But maybe later this week we'll start working on the business rules and the user or the workflow for the app. It's basically saying, what sign up involved? What are the steps to pay? What are all the steps for everything that the app does, so that it's very clear and outlined. And that section will be using these flowchart tools and decision points and keys in there. So I think there's one more thing I want to add in here, and that is discount codes. So in generation 1 I'm going to have a hard-coded discount code, and then in generation 2 we might have general discount codes. So maybe I can pay, and I can invite 1 or 2 users for free or something. I haven't decided that yet. And you don't have to at this stage of the game. You're just kind of brainstorming it out. So to sum up and wrap up for a second time, you say third time's a charm. We'll just call this a third time, even though it's maybe the second time. Dynamic discovery is a 5-step process where you can take a software idea and you can take it from idea to an actual visual design that somebody can look at and determine whether it's worthwhile to use and do. It's got 4 steps plus your validation or pre-sales. First is creating an idea web, which was last week or the last session. Second is taking that idea web and identifying the minimum viable product, MVP, or the minimum viable sellable product. That's what we just did today. Step 3 of dynamic discovery is creating workflows. How does the logic work in the app? What are all the decision points? What are the steps the user takes? What does the system take care of and do and operate? What does an administrator do? What other services and tools are being used? In this example, we've got an email service, a web app, and the users are all the actors that are making actions. Part 4 of dynamic discovery is building actual physical, I guess they're not physical, drawings of the app in action and having buttons on that app that work like the actual app itself would work. And then you're ready to share that. You share that with your team, with your investors, with your audience to see if it's viable, to see what you missed. It's easy to go back and get that feedback right away and change your workflows. It's easy to come back and change your mockups and continue to cycle on that around between looking at the app with your investors. Let's call them stakeholders, really, whatever they are, whether they're in your company or investors or customers. So stakeholders can give that feedback, and you can integrate that feedback before you build anything in code. It saves a lot of money. It gives you software that's actually viable, and somebody will want it. So stay tuned for Dynamic Discovery Step 3 on our Accountability Goal app. Thank you for visiting with me today. And if you don't have software that works for you and it's working against you, that's our mission. We serve and guide others to software systems excellence. So if you need help in that area, reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you. And OBS Studio worked today. Yes. Woo! All right, signing off. This is Brian with EvoDynamic, and you be blessed. Let's stop this stream over here. Bye-bye, YouTube.